Okay, so this is the grab bag that we have in the car, one of them, and inside this has got supplies. Should a bushfire occur, or should some other flood or other emergency occur, we can just get in the car and go, and not have to worry about looking for essentials that we need. And we'll get into the grab bag another time. But I just wanted to try something out. In the bag we've got all sorts of goodies, including these emergency blankets. Now, if you've not seen these before, you usually see them at marathons and things like that, where the volunteers will run up and they'll throw one of these opened up around a runner just to keep them warm. It keeps, they say, 90% of your body heat in. And it also reflects heat as well. You can see how super thin these things are. So what we're going to do is we are going to use this so as a bit of an experiment. I've got a thermal monocular that we're going to use, and we are going to get one of our boys to jump behind this to make sure we can have a good look and see what thermal signature is given off behind it. And because if you're wrapped in one of these and you're stuck on a hillside or out somewhere and the emergency rescue helicopter's looking for you, question is, will it find you? Will it see you? Now, it might see the silver foil, but then again, if it's at night, the question is, would it see with a thermal device your heat signature? Now, just to throw a little something else into the mix, we've got that. We also have one of these. Now, some people in Europe might never have seen these because you don't get too much sunlight, unlike Australia, but we get some amazing heats down here. And what these do is you put them in your car windscreen, it folds out, and it reflects the sun heat away from you. Now, given our first Christmas in Australia got up to 40 degrees Celsius and really nobody batted an eyelid here, it was a bit of a culture shock for us to have a Christmas day spent looking for air conditioning and air conditioned places to go. So here's the reflective. Now I'm going to try this because in the event of an emergency, if you need to shield from the sun, or you need to have the silver side against you because you've got nothing else, question is, will it hide your thermal signature? So let's have a look at that. Okay, so let's crack on with mylar space blanket test number 1. Now here we have 2 willing volunteers, junior number 1 and junior number 2. Junior number 1 is going to go behind the mylar blanket, and junior number 2 is going to go behind the car shade. Okay, so I've asked the 2 volunteers not to touch the actual sheets, just to see what happens. As we can see, volunteer number 2 on the right, his elbow is sticking out, his finger sticking up at the top, and you can actually see his head pop up too. Volunteer number 1, I actually asked him to touch the sheet, the mylar blanket, with his hand, which you see here, and then with his entire body, face, arms, legs, everything. And junior number 2, I asked him to do the same, but as you see, you can only see his head popping up over the top, and you can barely just see his finger on the top left as you look at it, kind of sticking over the top, but you can't really get a signature, which is really good. Now we've got it in white hot, black hot, and fusion as well. So just looking at that, back to red hot, you can see where their signature is. Mylar space blanket test number 2. Now, as you can see here, we've got junior number 1. He is very hot in his face and legs, but he's actually got that blanket pulled close to him, which is interesting because earlier we could see that you could see the actual signature through the blanket, but here you can't. So I've moved from red hot to white hot to black hot, and you still can't see expectedly, because they're all the same. But there you go, you've got fusion. And again, you can't see anything other than his legs and his face and neck, which is very interesting. Okay, so here we have the final test number 3, and you can see that junior number 2 took off his gum boots, Wellington boots, wellies, whatever you want to call them, but the gum boots in Australia. He took them off, and there they are in red. And then in the white hot, they're white, black hot, they're black, and in fusion, they're a variety of colours indicating they're hot, yellow and orange. But if you look at the sheet each time, in which junior number 2 is wrapped in that sheet, you can't see his signature over the top. Now you can see at the bottom where he meets the ground, but then when you switch to video, again, you zoom in and you look, and I'm standing about 15-20 meters away from him at this point, about 15 meters. So that signature you can pick up. Now the gumboots just glow. And I've asked Junior to stick his hands out the top just to give you an idea of how he appears. Now he's obviously toasty in there. He did say it was nice and warm, not uncomfortable warm, but definitely warm. And it wasn't a hot day. I don't want my children to be cooked like chickens. So it was a nice cool day, but here he is sitting up and looking around. And you can see that heat signature coming from him, but again, not through the blanket. You can see it on the ground where he'd been lying and still in his gum boots. But had he been wrapped in that blanket on a hillside, trying to protect himself from the weather and from the cold, and a rescue helicopter was overhead looking down, scanning for a heat signature, it wouldn't have picked him up necessarily. Given the height they have to be off the ground, there's a from this footage alone, you can see it would struggle to pick up seeing him at all. So that's a bit of a problem if you're trying to be rescued. So you're best leaving something out like your boots, like junior number 2 did. If you're going to sleep with your boots on, then you're going to have to leave them stuck outside the blanket so that you can be seen. Thanks for watching this video. If there's any comments, please feel free to put them down below. I'd love you to hit the like and subscribe buttons. And I just have one question. Does anyone out there know how you put this back into this? Have a great day.